Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Essential Wellness Mastering the Basics Week 6. This is our final call for this training. We do hope that in this last several weeks that you have gained clarity, more confidence, that you have been taking action, that you've seen success from the scripts and what we've been teaching you, and that you'll continue to implement this into your business as well as teach it to people in your team. We do have, for those of you that are in Portland, a training on October 28th, and our rock star Haley is going to come to Portland for that training. So if she's coming to Portland, I see no reason why the rest of you all that aren't in Portland can't come join us. But we have sold quite a few tickets. So if you do want to join us with your team, please grab your tickets. And then following that, we do not have a date yet, but we will have another online training. So if you want to invite more of your team to the training, that will probably shortly follow. Do you have a date for that yet, Haley?
Not yet.
Not yet. We'll have that.
But I will have it shortly.
We'll have that all together soon. And so today we are going to wrap up with some very valuable information that ties back to training from Tiffany Peterson. Our beloved Tiffany Peterson that we love is a business coach and somebody that I personally worked with for quite a long time, and we've all learned just so much from her. So we're going to share some of the techniques from Tiffany. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the screen over to Haley, unless Josie, if there's anything you want to comment on, add, and we'll just jump right into class.
Nope, I think that's great.
Okay, Haley.
Awesome.
Let's all just take a moment and send Miss Haley some birthday love, because yesterday was her birthday. So let's send her some kisses and love and birthday cheer. And she's such a rock star. Our Haley has come to class in her car, and now I just have to out. She is in the closet at a friend's house who is actually teaching an oil class on the other side of the door. So Haley shows up wherever she needs to to provide value and information. So take it away, Miss Haley.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the birthday love and all of that. You can out me. I'm in the closet. It's fine. It's not even weird. Some of the best ideas I've ever had come to me when I'm in the closet. It's fine. But I wanted to shout out, though, all of you have been posting your dates for your classes. You guys are rock stars. There's like 5-6 classes. It's awesome. Have you guys been rocking business overviews? Has that happened? Has anybody done a business overview since last week? He has to have. A practice one? Yeah, and that's awesome. So I encourage you guys to even just practice with people. Reach out to people who are in your organization now and now give them a business overview. Ask them the same question you would at the end of a membership overview. Are you interested in earning an income or getting some oils for free? Because these are people that maybe we have never asked because we never knew to ask them that. And you probably have a lot of people on your team you can do that with. So reach out to those people. I encourage you to do that because a lot can come from it. And I wanted to just really quick recap our last 5 weeks. So you guys now know how to share oils with other people in scripts. You now know how to do a one-on-one and schedule one. Then you know how to do your follow-up appointment after you've done your one-on-one. You know how to ask the question for the business opportunity, right? And then do a business overview with them. And you know how to teach the raddest class ever. So that's like kind of the business basics. That's really all you have to know how to do to rock this and to teach other people how to do it. That's like just the bare bones. So the purpose of this training, again, is to give you foundation to go out and operate this business. And then you can add on the different things that you learn as you go. The more detailed stuff, the more in-depth stuff will come from mentoring with your enroller. But this is really all you have to do. So it's really keeping it simple, and I hope you guys have gotten a lot out of it. But today I'm going to kind of do a little bit of just up-leveling your skill set. So I pulled in Tiffany Peterson's Magic because this is some universal stuff that's just helpful in general, in your life, in your business, in any relationship. And we know this is the relationship business, right? So Tiffany has what's called the 5 gates, and these are the beauty of asking great questions. So good leaders ask great questions. So I'm going to post these for you right after this call, but these are questions that you can use in a relationship in general. You can use it for a customer who is maybe potentially looking to get oils and you're walking them through a health goal or resistance about it. It's anybody who you're mentoring who's currently a leader in your business and they're stuck at a rank and they don't know what to do. They just feel stuck in their business and they don't know where to go. These are 5 gates that you can walk people through to help get them to where they want to go. And it's all through asking good questions. Because as we know, it's gospel when it comes out of their mouth, right? We don't want to fill it in for them. We want to ask good questions, let them fill it in. So the first gate is, where are they now? So you guys can write this down. Gate 1, where are they now? So some really good questions here in gate number 1 might be, what is life like right now for you? Or where are you the most out of balance? Or maybe, how long has this been an issue for you? And you might even ask, how much is it costing you to keep it this way? What if nothing changes? Can you live with that? So you can pick and choose different questions that you use. These are just a few, but you can adapt those, change those. But this is a really good place to start. Because let's imagine somebody, you ask them, what's your life like right now? What are we working on? And they tell you, I've had back pain the last 10 years. And you ask them how long. So it's been an issue for 10 years. That's how long. So how much is it costing you to keep the pain? How much is it costing you to manage that? And they might go to a financial place. They might say it's costing me a lot in medical bills to manage the pain. Or they might say it's costing me my time with my family because I'm always in bed and I can't do anything. I'm in bed maybe 5 hours a day. So what if none of that changes? Is it possible that worse? Is it possible that you won't find a solution for it? Can you live with that? And this is we're taking logical brain. We know how the brain functions, and bringing it to an emotional place. We're making this real for them. So once you've asking them that, you're really helping them see their current reality, that there's pain that exists there. And that's why we're here talking to them. This is why they sought us out, or this is why we crossed paths talking to us, because pain exists in their life in some form or fashion. Emotional, spiritual, physical, whatever it is, in their life somewhere, they are out of balance. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's gate 1. Where are they now? Then you're going to take them into gate number 2, and this is where they want to be. So some questions might be, how would you want your life or your results to be? What do you want that to look like? What would you like to experience? And they might say, I want to experience more joy in my life. I want to experience more time with my kids. I want to experience more freedom. And your next question might be, why is that so important to you? And then a really good question to bring somebody into themselves, and it's a very insightful question, is, if you achieved that, if you were now pain-free, this pain you've been struggling with for 10 years, if you were now pain-free, what would that feel like? What would you be able to do? And let them talk. And you might even ask them, how long have you thought about being pain-free? How long have you thought about having more time with your kids? How long have you thought about whatever it is that they're struggling with? And even in this example, I don't know if you guys can feel it, but it's bringing it from just a question of, oh, you have pain and I'm going to address a solution. It's making it feel real. It's not just that my knee hurts. It's that my knee hurts and I can't play sports with my kids. It's my knee hurts, so I sit more than I stand, and I don't walk as much, and I don't go out and do the things that I love and I want to do because I'm struggling with this pain. So it's more than just this one thing. It manifests in all the areas of our life. So helping it become real for them. So that's gate number 2, where you want them, where they want to be. And then gate number 3 is the gap. So we're basically going to close the gap between where they are and where they want to be through a series of questions. And so some questions there might be, how long have you thought about changing this? And another really good question is, what if nothing changes? Can you live with that? I think you're not muted, Joseph. You want to mute yours? Gutsy. So the gap is a really important one because we're now helping them see that pain exists. Then we're helping create that reality. But then we're also letting them see that there are dreams and there are goals and there are things that are obtainable for them should they be able to find a solution for whatever they're struggling with. This might be, so I'm using pain as an example for maybe a potential customer or somebody who's wanting products or oils to help. But also this could be a financial led conversation. If somebody is saying that they are stuck at a certain income and they're trying to grow it, we're going to take them from where they are and where they want to be and close that gap. So when it's out of their mouth, they realize where they're not and where they want to be. Because we can tell somebody all day long, just do this, just do that. But if they don't believe it for themselves, what do? Nothing. They don't go do it. We have to help them see that they are fully capable of changing their reality in their life. So we want them to know that time is passing and that if this hasn't been solved, their dreams can't be achieved or approached even. So gate 3 is the gap. Then gate number 4 is the commitment to change. So this isn't commitment to a sale. This is just, are you willing to commit to changing something? So some questions might be, are you to make a change in your life? Are you ready to change this in your life? And if they say yes, you really want to ask them this question. Tiffany always really hammers this home. What tells you that? Because so often when you're presented with some new opportunity or some new venture or some new solution, it's like the next shiny thing. We want to know that this is different. Why today? Why not yesterday? Why not a month ago? All of those things. So what tells you that? And then we really want to say to them, change isn't easy. Change is something that's hard and it might be uncomfortable. So what tells you that you're ready for this kind of change? So along that same kind of question, because we want to prepare them. If people are prepared going in, they don't give up. If they know going into the business opportunity, it's not the easiest thing, even though it's simple. If they're going into this knowing it's going to be a journey, but it's worth it and you have the support and it's going to be uncomfortable, when it gets uncomfortable, they already knew it from the start. And so they're not sitting there thinking, wait a second, you didn't tell me that this might get uncomfortable and it might be hard. And then they quit. They already know stuff is going to come up. So how will you address maybe some fears that will come up during this type of change? And are you ready to take action? I don't know if you guys can hear the jam session in the background, by the way, but these kids, these people are like rocking out over here. So I apologize for the background. So in gate number 4, where it's commitment to change, right? It's not commitment to a sale. It's just commitment to change. You're focusing on the commitment to what you're offering. So if somebody says, yeah, I really want to change, but I don't know how much that'll cost. I want to know how much it'll cost before I can make a commitment. So you want to ask them, with or without oils, or with or without my support, are you ready to make a change? We want to know, despite all of that outside influence, it's just a question. Are you ready to change, or are you not? If it was free, would you be any more ready to change than if it was $150? If it was somebody else or it was me, does it matter? Are you ready to change today? So if you get any pushback or resistance on that question, because most people think that, well, I kind of want to change, but I just don't know if I can invest in that. That's not the question. Are you ready to make a change despite any of the other stuff? So that's the commitment to change. And then there's gate 5. And this is where we present the solution. So we might ask, how do you see doTERRA making a difference for you? Or how do you see $10,000 a month making a difference for you? How do you see $500 a month making a difference for you? How do you see working with me making a difference for you? All of those questions. So whether it's doTERRA products, whether it's the business opportunity, whether it's a specific number of an income goal for them, whatever it is, how do you see this making a difference for you? And then you might ask them, if you had that kind of support, if you had that kind of help and support in finding a solution for your health goals, if you had that kind of help and support finding some small income in your life, what do you think you would achieve? Because our question here is, there's a ton of solutions out there. There's a ton of different companies. There's an immense amount of business opportunities that are out on the market. Why are you drawn to me? Why are you drawn to doTERRA? Because we want to know, why is it different right now? So this is where we're talking about, people buy logically and they rationalize, or they buy emotionally or they rationalize logically. So this is, they're processing everything logically. I'm not just buying $275 of oils with the Home Essentials kit. I am buying a solution for my health and wellness. I'm buying a business opportunity to change my life. I am doing all of these things, and this is how I know. And so Tiffany gave some really cool statistics that I just want you guys to have in the back of your mind. But 60% of all business transactions take place because of somebody to help them. And most people quit after the first contact. So you want to keep asking these questions of people. Maybe they're not ready now, and we just gauge that commitment. And these, walk them through in the beginning to gauge where they're at, because this might be somebody who says, yeah, I'm ready. I'm so ready to do this, because they're just excited and they're telling you what you want to hear, and then they fall off a month later. This is allowing them to make it real. You are talking them through the whole process of what that looks like. And it might be scary and it might be uncomfortable, but I got you. So when it does come up, it's not scary, because we knew it was going to happen. If I tell you there's a stop sign on the road and you're going 55, you start looking for the stop sign, you already know it's there, versus you run through it and you get a ticket. And you're like, why didn't you tell me there's a stop sign there? And then they just don't want to listen to you, right? So this is really something that you want to help walk them through. So there are some examples of things. So like I said, kind of as I was going through, you can use this for products. You can use this with somebody who's stuck in their business. So let's say somebody's stuck at Elite and they really want to go silver. This might be all of those questions. So what is your life like right now? You've told me that you've been sitting at Elite. Where are you? How long have you been at Elite? Because we really want to fill in the blanks for people always. So you've been at Elite for this long and you want to go to silver. Am I hearing you right? Let them answer versus doing that. So how long have you been at Elite? And they tell you potentially, let's say a year. I've been Elite for a year and I really want to go silver. So how much is it costing you to stay Elite and not go silver? They might say, well, I'm buying my products every month. I'm not supplementing my income like I wanted to. So what if nothing changes and you stay Elite? Can you live with that? So they're seeing there's something there that's holding them back, and it's nothing outside of themselves. So we're bringing all of everybody's outside everything inside. We really want to tune in, get them looking insightfully at themselves. And then, so where you want to be, you've told me you wanted to be at silver. What would you experience more of if you were silver? That's potentially this income. How do you see silver helping you? What would your life be like if you were silver? Why is it so important for you to be silver? And if they tell you all of these reasons, it's important to my family, it's important for me to make that kind of income, it's important for me to get out of debt. So if you achieved silver, what would that feel like? And now they're feeling the emotional part of it. How long have you thought about the silver? So we're walking them through this. How long have you thought about changing that? And if none of that changes, can you live with that? And they might say, no, I can't live with it. I have to do it. Or, yeah, I can live with it. Then you have your answer. So are you ready to make a change? Of course, at this point, I'm not joking. After you get through the first 2 gates, people are so emotionally invested in where they are and getting rid of that story that they're going to say, yes, yes, I'm ready. And they're pumped up right in that moment. So this is that important question. What tells you that? Why does it matter today that you're silver and it doesn't matter yesterday? Or maybe it mattered, but it didn't matter enough for you to make a change. So what tells you that? See, and as you know, we've been at Elite for a year. What's going to happen when it gets hard again and when it gets uncomfortable for you? So tell me why today is different than yesterday. And they're going to tell you all of those answers and all those fears that come up. You might get fear of rejection or fear of failure, or fear that I can't do it, and all of the things that we all experience. So how are you going to address that when it comes up? Because it will come up, and it'll probably come up a million times. So what are we going to do to work through those blocks and through that uncomfortability? And Tiffany always says, are you willing to get uncomfortable to get the results that you want? Right? Her like famous thing that she always says. Because nothing easy, nothing good ever comes inside your comfort zone, right? So are you ready to take action? Are you ready to do that today? And if they say, I don't know what it takes to get to silver, so I don't know if I can commit to that. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how many classes I'd have to teach if I got to silver. I don't know how I would do that. And they get that overwhelming feeling. Just normalize it for them. That's okay. You don't have to know anything. I'm just asking if you're willing to commit to changing it. If it took as irrelevant details, I want to know if you're willing to. So you're focusing on their commitment to change versus their commitment to you. Do you ever have people say, yeah, I really want to work with you. I will commit to you. I don't want them to commit to me. I want them to commit to themselves. So we're trying to get them to commit to making a change for themselves, for their family, for whatever their motivation is. That's where that what tells you that question comes in. Because sometimes people will say, yeah, because they don't want to let you down, or they have this fear of failing. And they'll say, yes, because I won't let you down. Redirect that. This is for them, not for us. So now if we get to gate 5 in that situation, so how do you see silver making a difference for you? If you had that kind of income, what kind of results would you achieve? If you had that kind of support, if you had support to get to silver, and we could strategize and mastermind how to get there, what would you achieve if you hit silver? And then these same questions. There's a lot of different people support you getting to silver. There's a lot of different people who you could seek support from business coaches you could hire, why are you reaching out to me right now to make a change? What's attracting you to me? So this is them really being committed and looking at, why is this different? Why am I attracted to you or to doTERRA or to their business opportunity and not these other things? This gets them connected to their why. This is why I'm here and I'm not doing something else. And then you'd say, great, let's get started. Or you'd connect them with whoever. So did you guys feel how that you can walk somebody through being totally stuck and attached to their story to being totally open to making a change? And this happens all the time. And you can use this in your life in any situation. This could be a really good friend that you're just talking to who's struggling with, a relationship or something. This could be anything completely unrelated to doTERRA in every sense. It's just valuable skill sets to help people get through anything. Did I cut out? Did I lose everybody? Am I here? Yeah. Okay, I'm good. So today is obviously kind of a little bit shorter, but those are the 5 gates that Tiffany Peterson gives us as really great tools. And I encourage you guys to try this out, to do it. I would love to see if somebody has written down these questions. Is anybody willing to role play these? I need 2. Who's it gonna be? Suzanne and Asha. So Asha, you have had migraine headaches for the last 5 years. Suzanne, you're walking her through the gates.
Okay. Can you hear me okay? My internet, I think, is a little in and out.
You sound perfect, actually.
Okay, great. So Asha, tell me what life is like for you now with these consistent migraine headaches.
Well, this is actually true. So this is great. It's not role playing. I get optical migraines. I've gotten them my whole life. So I actually lose my vision and they're really intense. They're, very debilitating because it'll start small and then it'll take over my whole vision and I'll have to lay down. And then after that, the pain comes.
And so this has been going on for your whole life. And at this point, if nothing was to change, could you live with having migraines for the rest of your life?
In an interrupted sense, yeah. I mean, it's not fun. It definitely takes away my time,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
my productivity.
So what would you like to experience more of in your life if you had that time?
More joy, more freedom, more time in nature, more time with my kids.
Mm-hmm. And why are all of those things important to you?
They're important because they're things that I love. And I think when we get to experience the things that we love, we are happier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if you were now free of migraines, what would that feel like for you?
Oh, that would be amazing. I do think that they're linked to my hormones because they're cyclical. They're in a cycle. So that's one little tip. I'd love to be pain free and not have those.
Okay. And how long? Free?
You froze for a second there. Can you repeat that?
Did I freeze?
You did.
Okay, sorry. How long have you thought about being pain-free?
I have never been pain-free, so I actually have never thought about it.
I'm
But
going to just change something. Keep going.
but just talking to you makes me think about it. So that's good. I have to admit, I had never, because I'd had them my whole life, I haven't thought about it before.
Okay. So what if nothing was to change and the pain continued for your whole life?
You know, a lot of time on the couch and not doing what I want, and less time working towards the goals that I have.
Mhm. Are you ready to change this in your life?
Yeah.
Are you ready to take action to make that change?
Absolutely.
Okay. And what tells you that you're ready for this type of change?
I feel inspired by my connection with you, and I feel like maybe working with you could help me find the tools I need.
Okay.
I just didn't know it was possible before.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So if you had the kind of help and support that we've talked about, what do you think you would achieve?
Well, anything's possible.
Right on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of open-ended with that. You know, I think the more time we have to be doing what we love or focused, you know, you achieve your goals that much more quickly.
Awesome. Okay. Now, Haley, at some point, I probably should have clarified we're talking about eliminating the migraines, but then it kind of went more into working with me. And so somewhere I didn't focus on her commitment of change to herself.
Right. So why don't we go back to gate 4 and stay with the health concern versus, and working with you might be working with you on finding support for that and helping get rid of the migraine, but let's go back to gate 4.
Okay. Okay. So Asha, are you ready to change this in your life?
Definitely.
Okay. And so are you ready to take action on that change?
Yes, I am ready.
Okay. And what tells you that you're ready for this type of change?
This is kind of where we were before when that's how I brought you into it, because I didn't really even know that that was a possibility, but having you even ask me these questions gives me the feeling that maybe there's hope. And that's why now I feel like I'd like to try something.
And
you got something, Suzanne. I want it.
What?
You need feedback?
I want.
Well, I know, but what I should, my feeling is right then, I should have then said something along the lines of, how do I bring in, Haley, help me with a question about how I take that desire to work with me around this change and really have her make that commitment to herself.
Right. So are you ready to make a choice being pain-free? So it's going to be hard. It'll be a journey, just like any other health goal that we're trying to work around. So what kind of things do you have in place when that comes up, when it becomes uncomfortable and maybe something doesn't work and we have to try something else? How do you think you'll manage that as it comes up? And are you ready to make a change in your life to start targeting that pain so that you can do more stuff that you've been wanting to do forever?
So I feel like I asked her some of those questions.
Yeah.
And she said she was ready to make the change. She's ready to take action. What tells her, what tells you that you're ready for this type of change?
And you're talking about what attracted her to you is where you're at.
Right. And so
Okay.
would I not then go into, so if you had the kind of help and support we talked about, what do you think you would achieve? And then she said, anything's possible. So how, but it feels like that's kind of like, and we're on the cliff. So how do we
Right. So you might say, yeah, totally. So you might say, so there's a lot of different options out there for different solutions for pain management and all these other things that I know that you're probably aware of, whether you've tried it or not. What is it about doTERRA that has attracted you to asking me about it? What is it about doTERRA that you think might make a difference for you? So if you had the kind of help and support with essential oils that I'm going to tell you about, what do you think would change in your life if you were able to have something at your fingertips that might help you with those migraine headaches?
Mm-hmm.
Another good question.
There's a lot of different products out there.
Yeah.
And so why are you so attracted to this product?
Mm-hmm.
With or without my support, are you ready? That's another thing. That's another way you could get it off you, Suzanne, and more on me is with or without my support, would you be ready to take the steps? Right?
Yes. With or without doTERRA, are you ready to make a change in managing your pain and doing
so
more of the things that you've been wanting to do?
That's back in gate 4.
Yep.
I have a little insight too in regard. This is
Ice.
a little bit, but in kind of probing into those initial questions of, how is this impacting your life, and a good way to go a little deeper with that, especially if someone, Asha said, well, it's been happening in my whole life, and it is, you can start asking, do you lose time from work? Does this affect time with your family? Wow, that sounds really difficult. How is it to, feel horrible a week out of the year or out of every month, or, like whatever it is. But if you're finding that, especially when somebody's lived with something for so long, it's almost just become normal for them, and they haven't actually stopped to think about the impact that it's really having. And it's like, oh wow, well yeah, I've lost time from work when I have those headaches. Well, what does that cost you? What does it mean if you are missing a couple of days of work from your paycheck? What does it mean if you're not there to show up for your family? What does that cost you? So that's just a way you can dig deeper into some of those pain points. So just a little extra tip there. And then one more little tip is when they've responded is, this is maybe just a personal tip, but just like, you can say something like, wow, that sounds really difficult. I'm really hearing how hard that is for you. And then go into the next question. So the person doesn't feel like you're just asking them this line of questions, but you're having kind of this moment of empathy and like, wow, that sounds really tough. Do be mindful. One more thing, Jose, and then I'll hand it over to you. Do be mindful, though, not to start spinning into your own story. Oh, yeah, I know when I have headaches and blah, 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 blah. So because sometimes we can be going there in our head and we immediately want to share our own experience with how difficult headaches are. I mean, you could say something, I've experienced the same thing. I know that's really rough, but this time that you really want to keep, and you didn't do that, Suzanne. I'm just kind of pointing this out because sometimes it can be human tendency to go there. And even sometimes in my head, I'll be thinking of, yeah, I can really relate to that. And I'll start spinning the story in my own head. And then I'll say to myself, but this is not the time to share that story. And this is where you get to practice self-containment and you can empathize with them and then keep moving forward. learning self-containment in our conversation is a really effective and powerful tool. And when you have that urge to speak, ask yourself, is this relevant and important and in this moment? And really ask yourself that question, because we're so quick to just start rambling on with things. And it's, especially as women, it's easy to start going off in tons of different directions. So I'm just bringing light to that because it's such a natural tendency for all of us to do. But I invite you to be aware of that in your own process, and when you're in this process with somebody else, and just watch your brain and what it wants to start inserting and to start editing that. And that will really serve you. You know, it's something that I still practice, and I'll really just watch myself, but I'll just keep the focus on them. And then just one last thing too is, I know we've been talking about this through this whole entire 6 weeks, but the art of asking questions is so powerful. And as Haley said, asking these questions, these apply to every part of your life, not just selling an essential oil, working with your family, your children, your partner. You know, in your life, if you just practice asking more questions and listening to really hear. Tiffany also says this, oftentimes we listen to respond, you know, but we're not really listening to understand. So seek to understand before being understood and before being so anxious to respond. And it really can change so many dynamics in your life. Okay, over to you, Jose.
Oh, no, that was great, Aish. I was going to reiterate that point with you about so many people normalize their pain. And even Asha was doing it, like, yeah, I've lived with this my whole life. Like, so part of really probing into the pain points is, and that's that counterbalance of working with empathy, right? Aish, at the same time, but don't get caught in their story in the details, but the empathy about how difficult that must be. And part of that is really having a witness listen to them and say, wow, that's really incredible that you are suffering in that way. Like, to get them to see all of the effects it is having. And the other thing I wanted to mention was, I've seen this with Suzanne and Asha, is that Tiffany always makes it very clear there's a flow with the 5 gates, but the reality of the conversation is a lot of the times you're not always going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're bouncing around back and forth between some of the gates, 2 to 4 to 5. And so, the more comfortable you get in working and talking with people, the more you just intuit that and work with that, but know that it's not necessarily a linear progression always.
One more thing to add to, I hope you guys don't mind us just kind of digging deeper into this moment, is that
I love it so much.
I found this over and over and over and over to come up as I've had conversations with people, is for whatever reason, as adults, we have forgotten how to dream. We've forgotten, or we learn to live with things and we adjust and it becomes our normal. And it's hard to imagine that life could be any other way. And there are so many people that are actually living with high amounts of pain and discomfort and unhappiness. And we actually become, like I said, habituated to that is our normal. And so one thing that I love over and over and over again about asking these questions is to plant the seed that there is something else possible for that person, whether it's getting out of pain, it's, creating a different reality in their life, that there is something bigger waiting for them, that there's other possibilities. And for that person actually to receive permission. And by asking that question, I've had so many people after having conversations come back and say, wow, well, I never even thought of that. I never even thought that was possible. I never even thought I could live the rest of my life without having to suffer from these headaches, because I've had in my own life and it's just become my normal. And so you are offering this thought and planting a seed that can actually become quite powerful in that person's reality, and sometimes in a really big way. So that's part of the power of asking these questions and spending some time exploring, because somebody might even say, wow, I haven't actually realized how it's been impacting my job or impacting my relationship with my family, because it just is their reality. So there's just so much power in that. And I don't want that to go overlooked or, it's exciting, actually. It's really cool when somebody comes back and says, wow, I didn't even think that could be possible.
Can I say one more thing, guys? I know you keep, and to really, that's the part of the self-containment. I mean, and this is hard for me, you guys know me, is separating the treatment plan, whether it's a business plan, it's or the medicine plan. So those are the details, how they're going to get there, how the support they're going to have, what training they're going to do, separating that from this moment of the conversation. And I love the idea of think from the end. That's one of the principles I teach, and Laura Jacobs was talking about it yesterday as well. Very important in every aspect of doing this business. And whatever you do, always think, where am I going and why am I doing this? And so in this conversation, Haley, maybe you can, and or Aisha, weighed in, but there's two main big goals, I think, in thinking from the end. The first primary goal is to really assess where their commitment level is and to help them to come to that, because most people don't come to that. They commit without really assessing within themselves, are they ready to get uncomfortable, do the work that might be what they have to do to reach that shiny object, silver, elite, whatever step, right thing that they want. So you're trying to get real about that, and you're keeping it at that. It's about their commitment. It's not about what they need to commit to get to the shiny thing. It's about them and their commitment. And then, as Aisha's saying, part of that is unwrapping their experience and having them have ahas on emotional levels about what they've been dealing with, why they might want this change, having those ahas on that very personal level. So those are the two main goals. It's not telling them how they're going to reach silver, how they're, what oils are going to cure their headache. That's not the purpose, right? So
I want to share one last story. Hope we're monopolizing a little bit here. But
no, I love it. I just wanted to point out that I think it's so good and helpful. So these questions will more adapt and you'll get better at it. And like those of us who've been doing it for a long time, or even like have a background in counseling or psychology or any of those things, it comes so natural that we can have these different questions that feel like flow, but making sure that you have those validating statements in there. And that's what Aisha's been pointing out, is that you've got to validate people's feelings and support them in that, because when you think about being heard, you're inviting these people to get vulnerable with you, right? Heard is so close to being loved that for the average person, they're almost indistinguishable. So making sure that somebody feels totally comfortable being vulnerable with you, that comes from being empathetic and inviting them to join you in that. But vulnerability is the birthplace, like Brene Brown says, of creativity, love, and joy. So if somebody can't get vulnerable, it's a really big block for them. And I just want to say to you guys, if you think I can't do this until I'm fearless and I'm bulletproof and I've got all of my crap together, it'll never happen. And then if you do wait until you have all of your stuff together and you're bulletproof and you're fearless and you walk out in front of every single person waiting, that's not what anybody wants to see. They want to see your story their story in you and all of the vulnerability that you are sharing with us. So just go after it. You have a 1 in 400 trillion chance of being born. So you got crap to do, and you got to want it more than you want to sleep and more than you want to breathe. So I want to hear your story, Aish, but that's my little throw in.
I love it. I love it. So I think as humans, and again, especially as women, we are kind of programmed where we want to fix and give answers and solve people's issues. Does everyone relate to that? You know, like some girlfriend comes to you with problems and you immediately want to give them solutions, right? So that's kind of the way that I've lived a lot of my life. And I've also found frustrated when I don't know how to help somebody and I don't have a solution for them and I see them spinning about and I feel crappy because I don't know even what to tell them. And so what I've learned from switching my own approach from asking questions, and I'll share an example, is I had a leader on my team who was going through a lot in her life, and we're very, very good friends. So I knew her long before doTERRA, and she's really struggling. And I, you know, as her friend, wanted to have all the answers for her. And so we had a conversation, and this was actually when I was in my year-long coaching program with Tiffany. And so we talked for a couple hours, and I spent 2 hours doing nothing but asking her questions. I didn't offer her any solutions. I just asked her question after question after question after question. And from that conversation, she had some really big ahas. She actually implemented some major life changes around some things with her family. Even actually it actually shifted some of her, like where she was living. She actually bought a second house from this conversation. And then she told me later that it was a life-changing conversation and she was so grateful. And it was really powerful because I didn't tell her to do one thing. I just simply listened and I asked her questions. And that was really gratifying and a powerful learning for me because I didn't approach the conversation as I needed to fix her. I needed to have answers for her. I needed to tell her what to do because probably, as we know, that approach doesn't work. And I was a witness and I asked her questions and I just helped her solve her own issues. So just how truly powerful that is. And just wanted to share the power of this.
I loved that story. It is so powerful. Did you have something, Jess, that you wanted to add?
No,
Okay.
You guys are great. Just that this is like the most amazing call, and I'm so excited that we're going to have this as a reference for everyone. It's just everyone's going to be watching it. That's all.
Yeah, it's super good. And I just wanted to thank all of you guys who have showed up for the last 6 weeks playing full out. And I hope I get to see you guys all live in Portland. And I will be sharing the online dates when I have them. But I'm really amped for you guys. And I just want to encourage you to keep surrounding yourself with people who push you to your potential, because you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? And it's a really surrounding yourself with people and business builders and leaders and mentors that are pushing you to go farther than you think you could go. And I just wanted to, if I may, share this story from this keynote speaker that I heard. He was giving a talk on your potential and how you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And there was an NBA basketball player in the audience. And this guy holds the record for the Guinness Book of World Records for jumping the highest from a standstill. I think it's 36 inches, just straight off the ground, 36 inches. He can jump over a car at a standstill. And so he calls this guy up on stage and he asks him, so tell me what the record is. You can jump how high? And the guy's like, 36 inches. I hold the record. And so he's like, that's like 4 feet or something crazy, 3.5 feet or 4 feet, whatever it is. And he's like, yeah, it's pretty high. And he said, okay, I got I have one thing I want you to do up here if you don't mind. And he's like, no, sure, go ahead. The keynote speaker grabs a broomstick and he holds it horizontally 18 inches off the ground. And he tells the guy, jump over the broomstick. And this NBA player is like, is this a joke? It's 18 inches. I hold the record. Do I really have to jump over a broom? He's like, just jump over the broom. So the basketball player jumps over this broomstick and the speaker asks him, so I just have one question for you. I know that you can jump 36 inches off the ground. The whole audience knows you can jump 36 inches off the ground from a standstill. Tell me why you only jumped 18. And he said, because that's all you asked me to do. So that really resonated with me, that you do what the people around you push you to do, even if you know that your potential is so much higher. So surround yourself with the doers and the people who are pushing you to your full potential. So I hope that was inspiring and helpful for some people who feel like they're not going that stretch.
So before we wrap up our call, I would like to just open the floor for any last questions or comments, or to share anything that's on your mind before we wrap up the series. And or would love to hear how this experience has been for you. Asha, go ahead.
Well, I want to just thank you guys so much, Joe's, Aisha, and Haley. It has been amazing. And I think Ann and I were texting about it earlier today, how much we've enjoyed the training. And, you know, it's interesting for those of us that have been in this business for a long time and, you know, do things a certain way, you know, and there's certain things that work and some things that don't, but I know this is best. Do you know what I mean? So I'm so excited to put these things into place and memorize the scripts, and I'm really excited. So I just wanted to say thank you so much.
Oops. Thank you.
Pelu.
Anyone else?
So I'd like to, oh, go ahead, Lynn.
Oh, hi, Suzanne. Two thoughts. First of all, it's just so freeing to have scripts in front of me, memorize them, and feel like there's no more effort on my part because I don't even have to think anymore. I can just go out there and say, and it's just very freeing. The other question I have with the 5 gates and talking about their terrible headache, all it keeps coming back to me is them thinking at some point when you get past commitment and you're moving on to solutions that they're going to say, so why is taking on a new business like doTERRA going to make my headache go away? You know what I mean? I mean, I'm seeing a lot of this discussion of this physical pain and why would starting a doTERRA business, you know, I just would love to hear some sort of response if that was to come your way.
Oh,
So I think, sorry.
I'm
My understanding, go ahead, Aisha. Aisha, go.
Oh, I was just going to say that I don't believe the headache conversation was leading to a business opportunity. The headache conversation is leading to what oils will serve you to support your headache in regards to signing somebody up for an initial account.
I see. Okay, I misunderstood.
We were kind of bouncing around in that the conversation can be similar, leading to any results, you know, depending on what, you know, if you're talking to a builder or somebody interested in a business or somebody that's interested in doTERRA where you're talking about their health or, you know, so you can, yeah.
I had tunnel vision on business, so yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that was a really great question too. And at the end of it, it might be, so these are some products that might help you get started at the end of that.
Got it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's 2
Good
for
question.
1. How great.
I just want to thank all of you for coming together and for Haley and Aisha and Josie for leading this conversation. Lynn and I are starting to duplicate this, and we had week 1 of Mastering the Basics yesterday with our team. And we were able to have 6 people in addition to us live. And then we have several other people who will be watching the recording, and I made a PowerPoint. And so we already have our 6 weeks, the dates, the agendas, everything's coming. So we are already implementing a very similar training with our team, and everyone's very excited. And so thank you for the inspiration.
Yay, proud of you. That's awesome. And I hope that, especially for you leaders for a while, is encouragement for you to run with this and have these conversations and practice with your team.
Yes, Suzanne, that's so great. That's so inspiring. I mean,
Yeah.
I think, ultimately it's wonderful to be working with your own teammates and taking them through and practicing. Haley's still working it out, but I know some people do not feel ready for that. And so for those that don't, Haley's going to continue forward with this same training that she's going to be offering, that people can have their builders work with and work into.
Yeah, and what Lynn and I decided to do with week 1 was we talked about and went over the hero story. We talked about the initial outreach invitation and then the invitation to a one-on-one presentation. But prior to going through those skills, we actually started the call with the exercise that the man from Gallup did with us at convention. Where we were told to write for 15 seconds with our non-dominant hand. You remember how we had to write our name for 15 seconds, and then you do it with your dominant hand, and how does that feel? And so we spent time talking about, focusing on excellence, and we talked a lot about self-care and how that's the first basic of this business, is being vital and full of vitality. And so in addition to the 3 skills that we covered, we really set that foundation of focus on what feels good and how that's going to work for you and your personal care. So we added a few more things into the first week.
I love that. That is awesome.
Yeah, it was great. And I had to think of Aisha and Josie going like, oh my God, I have to make a PowerPoint? Wait, how does this work? And I've made plenty of PowerPoints in my life, so that wasn't as much of an issue, but it was like, oh, I need to pull this together and get the recording going and, all that. So it was great. And Lynn and I just really, tag teamed the information and the presentation. And I think our teams were really excited to get the information.
I love it. And as you may all know, to teach something is to master it. And so by teaching this, even if it's in a room to a couple of your new team members for an afternoon, but when you take that role of teacher is really when you begin to master material and learnings and understandings. And I love that you took that and added that whole other level to it. Maybe we'll do that in Portland as our opening. We love that. I love that idea. And it's great to take all that wisdom and all the pieces that we learn along the way and implement them and share them with our team.
I'll send you a copy of my PowerPoint.
Yeah, we would love that. We were taking note of that yesterday in our training with Laura Jacobs, because she's so masterful in the way that she answered questions and listened to people and addressed difficult questions. And I'm always learning from everybody when I watch people present, when I watch people speak. And especially, sometimes as leaders, if we're in trainings or we're in a beginning oil class that you've heard 1,000,000 times over, if you can approach it with a beginner's mind and actually listen to how is that person saying that phrase, or what is their delivery, or how are they saying that how are they explaining what an oil is, which I've done 1,000 times, but wow, that little tweak makes a really huge difference. I always pay special attention to Emily Wright and Dr. Hill and Laura Jacobs when they are talking about the oils, because sometimes you can bring in key phrases that you pick up from them that can become really dynamic in your own speaking. So it's a really important thing to kind of tune your ear into, especially again when you're somewhere where you're like, oh, I've heard this 1,000 times, I don't need to pay attention, which can sometimes happen the longer we're around and the more we're in trainings and the more we actually teach ourselves. And then let's see, Karen, I know you're asking about if we would mind posting another option for the 2 kits to be Natural Solutions and Family Essentials. What I'm going to
Home Essentials.
Or Home Essentials. What I'm going to encourage you to do is, just like you, we would have to actually go make that document. But all you have to do is grab screenshots of those 2 kits and throw them on a document and print it out. Is that something you feel capable of handling?
I can figure it out. I just thought if you had it all there and you could just, if it took you 30 seconds to do it, great. But yeah, if you don't, I absolutely will.
Doc, I don't personally have that put
I
together.
don't either.
Okay.
Oh, Asha. Okay, Asha's going to do it for us. Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Asha.
Yeah.
I did want to also say, Suzanne, if you wouldn't mind posting the PowerPoint, if you are willing to share it, I would love to see it too.
Sure.
If you wouldn't mind. Sounds awesome. And I wanted to thank Haley and Josie and Aisha. This is awesome. Love it. And I can't wait. I've got a bunch of my team that are going to be going to the live presentation, so can't wait for that. And also, just out of curiosity, since I've never seen any of you teach before, I think it would be super valuable if you happen to be having maybe a Zoom 101 class soon or a local one-on-one 101 class. I'd love to go or be invited just so we can, all of us maybe, or I especially just want to see your techniques and kind of how your flow of a class is, because mine tend to go a while. So I'd love to see it being done in an efficient manner and just the verbiage you're using and see it all happening.
Awesome.
Is that an option or something coming up soon?
Jose, do we have Louise's video ready to go?
I'm going to talk to her today and get her on that. Yeah, so Karen, Louise and her husband, Louise Rose, Dr. Rose and Ned, after coming back from Prague, I helped them. We videoed the Elise Sedovy class version.
Oh, good. Okay.
Which is all the scripts you've guys has been learning with the clothes, and then what she's doing for the class itself, which there's then the leeway. You can be using any tear pad you like, which is with the general kind of flow. She doesn't use a tear pad, and so she goes along with the flow of all the basic tear pads, and she just is using some of her tidbits of that are really wonderful tips about how to talk about things. And so we have that recorded, and the aim is to get that out to you guys. The stopping point is the editing. So yeah, if there's anyone who has editing skills, anyways, Louise hasn't, and Ned haven't gotten to that because they haven't done it yet. So
I did see that she's got a couple upcoming classes. So as long as that's kind of the flow, then I'll.
Rose, yeah, she's doing a great flow.
Okay.
And it's beautiful. But we will have that soon, and then we will be posting that probably on the Essential Wellness, where we have the Elise Sedovy information. Louise is definitely open to sharing it. So I hope to see that soon and have that for you guys, because it's a really great flow to watch.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
We will also probably do a basic class, and of course, if something comes up sooner than this, we'll let you know. But next year at the Eco Trust, we'll probably have one of the events just be like a basic oil class. So one, you can see the flow of it and also bring people that are new to it as well. So kind of that dual purpose of teaching example and then also the introductory for new people.
And Aish, do we want to talk about, so we were just in Laura Jacobs presenting kind of the new doTERRA corporate material class yesterday, and it's really great, you guys. And the Live, Share, and Build guides are already there, I believe, right? Available in the back office for people to purchase. They have been reworked. What she did want people to know is there is the Share Success class, that is what is there right now. It is being changed. And so it's going to go back to kind of more the old Makeover Your Medicine Cabinet style class. It is going to stay focused on the Natural Solutions Kit, and they are dialing in that class to be more succinct and more, I would say, yes, not as lengthy, easier for people to sell, but really hoping that people will work into the Natural Solutions, the 400 PV, $500 kit, because it truly is the best way to get started, and it is the best deal. And she firmly believes, as does corporate, that the best thing for everybody is to really, even in the intro class, be coming out of the box with the idea of this is a wellness company and inviting people to change. And this is something we'll talk about. The change happens first at a cellular level, so nutrition, so the LLV, and secondly, doing some cleansing and talking about how that will help then your body to work with the nutrition and with the essential oils and not have effects. So she feels really strongly about that, and that's what corporate is coming out with, that format. And we'll be incorporating that with all of these trainings. Everything you've learned here works with these systems, and it's giving you these scripts and these closes. But to know that you can be flexible between the family and the home essentials kits and the Natural Solutions kit, and kind of what style the meat of your class is. I thought the Live guide is beautiful, and it's very purposeful, the new one. So that we'll start to get, kind of comfortable with that to show people during a wellness consultation, and to play off of it and work with it. As is the Share guide and the biz and the business overview. So these are going to be materials that are helpful, that are in the back office, and people are going to not be receiving them anymore in the intro kits. They're going to be getting that beautiful new packaging in the intro kit, and then kind of like a lookbook that's going to be a little bit of a reference guide and how to use the oils. And I believe it's going to have Dr. Hill's The Wellness Pyramid and his daily habits, it's kind of daily wellness, which is, again, stressing not so much an oil for this and oil for that, but really looking into the deeper way of healing and caring for ourselves.
But I'm really,
Awesome. Thanks.
Go ahead, Suzanne.
So I'm on doTERRA.com, and I'm not seeing anything. I've clicked on every possible solution. I'm not seeing anything that pulls up the kits, the business support kits. So maybe they're not quite live.
If you type in Empowered Success, it should come up.
Oops, hold on. That took me to regular doTERRA. Let me go back to. Okay, I keep talking. I'll keep looking.
Okay, well, yeah, that was my understanding, that they're available currently, and everything is as it's going to be, except for the actual class format will be changing. She didn't have a date on that, but that will be changing. And they also have the Healthy Made Simple, the kind of A to Z-ish guide, that the little intro one, the format of that's going to change. I don't think that's available right now. So that's in the and that's changing. The things are still being ironed out, but the Live, Share, and Build guides are supposedly available and as is. They're making a couple adjustments. Like even in the class, we saw a few things. So it is in the process of being completely refined. Know that. If you're going to be choosing to buy some things, you might want to wait a little bit.
You know, I'm not actually finding them either. Has anyone else found them?
You're not finding them?
I can't find it anywhere.
Right before I got on this call, I was in a meeting, and we were talking on the phone, and she found the document. You can print them.
Well,
and,
on doTERRA.com, you can see them.
Oh,
but
okay.
For
ordering,
ordering,
if you just type Live Guide, you can buy 10 of them for $6. So I did just find, so I don't know where they're actually living, but.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, Live Guide comes up. Interesting.
So anyway, and I know some of these things are still getting dialed in as well.
Yeah, they're working on it.
I hope this isn't, I don't keep saying this, especially for those of you that have been around for a long time, you know, because we're a newer company, we've been through several reiterations of business trainings and TerraPads, and I know all of you know, and, you know, I know that I've learned actually a lot from all of them along the way. And what I love about this, and that I love that actually doTERRA corporates come in, is all the leaders that created Share, you know, Seth and Rod that have created Edge. Like everyone's really come together to have a voice to kind of bring the best of the best together. And so I think it's going to be wonderful to actually have one, hopefully, system that we're all dialing into. And all the conversations, you know, what we learned through Emerge and Elise Sotheby really just help strengthen the conversation. And so so I hope you don't feel like, okay, what I've just learned is now not relevant, because it's very relevant, and it will actually just, you know, the materials are there as a tool and a resource to help support our process.
Yes.
So. Okay, any other questions, comments before we wrap up?
Yeah, I do. I want to say that this has been an amazing process, and that I have been able to walk with all of this material that has been presented. I'm still working on the close, but all the other materials is just natural. I have a conversation and it just comes out as in the script, but it's not the script. And it seems like everything that's coming together is a very natural, organic, wholesome way to talk to people. And as I'm talking to my team and doing some help with my downline, that I'm finding that they're interested in sharing, they're interested in possibly building, they're interested in more education, things that they were blocked in before. Maybe it was me, maybe it's them, maybe it's both. But I want to thank you all for this opportunity, and I can't wait to have it come back again so I can bring more people onto it. Thank you, Aisha. Thank you, Josie and Haley.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you, everyone, so much. This has been wonderful, wonderful process.
I actually,
so much fun.
I have an ask for you as well. If you feel inclined to write a short testimonial, it would be wonderful for Haley to have that and moving forward in some of the other training she's going to be doing. So if you want to write just a few words about your experience with the training and Facebook message it to one of us, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. Any last parting words from anyone before we wrap up? Okay. Well, have a beautiful day. I know that I'll see you all again very soon in one form or another. Haley, we really want to acknowledge you and thank you for sharing your brilliance and your wisdom and your leadership. Really, I'm so grateful to you for for sharing with all of us, especially because, you know, for many of you, you're not on Haley's team, or, you know, so this is a wonderful way of cross-line collaboration. And that's something that I really love about doTERRA, that we all show up as a community, regardless of what downline or upline you're on, to support one another. So thank you for representing that, and sharing all of your gifts and your beauty and your talents and your insights with us. Okay, you guys, have a great day, and we'll all connect soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Love you, everyone.